Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the Outskirts here. This is the Gaming Season Reviews for February 19th, 2023, with your host, SpaceWaker2448, and Rump It Up Salon.
Hi.
It is certainly another week of Armada that I literally skipped through one of our episodes because I had a fucking enough of it.
Was it the second episode?
Yes, it was the second episode.
Fair.
Oh my god. Like, I am sorry, but I don't know what they think, but I swear they're talking about a completely different show. Because I don't understand what they're talking about at all.
I mean, the whole episode feels disjointed. I'll completely say that one.
Again, I'm like, is this translation or is this the original text?
You know what would really be funny?
What?
If that one was actually written over here, and that's not part of the original release.
Oh, nope, they have that episode in Japan. It's over there.
Because it would really be funny if that was the case.
Yeah.
Because that would make a lot more sense too.
Mm-hmm. But before we quickly talk about Armada, let's talk about Geats for however long we feel like it.
Yeah. Let's talk about Geats with not Ace's family of some sort being his sponsor.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, the line is there.
Mm-hmm.
We know time travel shenanigans thanks to the end of the episode.
Yeah, for those wondering, like, what the hell's happening in Geats this week, since it seems like not a whole lot happened, but a whole big old dump of information happened that's like, well, that certainly changes a lot of things. So, as we have found out, essentially, the sponsors, the audience, the entire Desire Grand Prix is made up of people from the future. Like, far enough fucked off into the future that, like, present day is like ancient history to them.
The best comparison is what the show even said, like how we currently view ancient Greece.
Yeah.
That kind of gap.
Yeah, we're talking like thousands of years in the future. And more or less, they have made a game that fucks about with people in time because no consequences as long as they wipe it from the plate.
As long as they have the goddess of creation.
Yep.
I feel like that is the key thing to take away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not that they can just wipe it all willy-nilly. No, if they don't have the goddess of creation, they are boned.
Yep, and no one can get their wish until we get the one vision driver back from Bubba's sponsor that I forget the name of.
And I'm just gonna call it now, because I'm sure it's gonna come out. Tell me that Jin is not some kind of relation to Ace.
Well, I would point out how Jin's helmet is actually Geats' helmet, like, turned to 90 degrees, like, up, I believe. I forget. It essentially is Geats' helmet, but in a reverse, in a different direction, once you line the two up next to each other.
Which they did this episode.
Yes, and I also believe that he is the only physical suit of the four sponsor riders. The other three are going to be CG. Which, as we find out our Buffa sponsor, she's just using an armored up version of Breaking Mammoth.
And quite literally breaks the Yamato Garden.
And maybe kills everybody in the process?
Maybe.
Because next week, fucking Geets is in school? So,
but you know, I don't understand why Geets backed away when producer guy was like, if I told you, then I'd have to erase everything. One of Geets' wishes was, as long as there's a DGP, that he would be in it.
Right.
So by erasing everything, was he really going to go through and literally erase everything or not? Because I get the feeling that it's not that simple.
I'm sure it's not, but I feel like in this episode, Geets is very much playing odds of just like, I want to push, but I don't know how far I can push because I'm up against the proper big wigs now that do not give a fuck. Clearly.
Even though he still found out literally all of the information.
Yeah. And the only one of our three that actually find that information out because the other two were busy.
On the other side of the entrance to the garden, apparently.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that, yeah, Ace is in that forest that we saw last in 01, technically? Because I don't think we've seen it since.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the Buffa sponsor lady, whose helmet is just a bull helmet, so I guess all of the sponsors' helmets are going to be the animals to some extent.
Probably.
And since people have been divisive on it, how do you feel about her just being Breaking Mammoth repainted with armor?
I mean, it was bound to happen.
Right.
I feel like it comes out of Left Wing with this one, though. Because she doesn't have any kind of unique transformation for it. Because at least, that was the thing, at least with Breaking Mammoth, the transformation was different enough to realize, oh crap, we're fixing to get something huge. This, it's just like, yep, here we go, something big, ta-da.
Apparently, in terms of the lore, because I'm just going to call it the lore because it's not explained in show. Apparently, our sponsors, their drivers, give them rider forms that they desire to be their true selves. So apparently, Buff the sponsor lady is like, I want to be stupid, big, and powerful. And Ace's sponsor just wants to be a regular rider that is vaguely Geeks themed. I guess. That's what I gathered from the lore. At least we get the other two next week, and then all three of them but Jin will probably be dead within like the month because they can't last long. We ain't got enough budget for that. Boost Mark II is actually leaked, sort of. We see the helmet for Mark II, and it's like a red version of Geets' helmet. And it seems like he's going to be using the gun that the sponsors have to some extent to access Mark II. At least that's what it looks like from the small bit of the driver we can see.
Makes sense. Because, I mean, otherwise, why else would we introduce another driver this light?
Yeah.
Plus, it kind of follows the weird pattern that we get sometimes.
Yeah.
Of base driver's not good enough, so upgrade driver, and then final form reverts back to base driver with upgraded something.
Yeah. Although, I guess going off of what you said a long time ago about boost and scarves, apparently you'll have 6 scarves.
Okay.
Well, the jackpot form gives him 2.
True.
And I think you said that they would probably skip, like, doubling it at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that.
And I see the 6 making sense because we have 6 tailpipes on the bike, so I guess that's what the scarves are, is that 6.
I could see that actually making sense too, because I think isn't the tailpipes on the boost parts itself 6 as well?
On the buckle doesn't have any pipes.
Nope, not the buckle, the actual armors.
Oh, the armor? It's 4 on the armor.
It is 4? Okay.
Yeah, it's
I couldn't
4 on the
remember
armor.
if it was 4 or 6.
Yeah, it's 2 per leg. Or arm, depending on the configuration.
And so I said armors.
Yeah. But yeah, I put a picture of what it's supposed to look like in the Discord chat. This debuts next month, so we still have a little bit of a wait on it.
I don't know if that's the gun.
It probably isn't.
That looks like that's something going over top of the driver. The
Right.
gun might play a part in it. It might
Well, there
be
is
the
a
gun
people-
itself going over top of the driver.
Yeah. Which, the gun has a rail to hook onto the belt.
Then that's what it is.
Because,
We're getting
Again.
the Gaim treatment.
yeah.
Attachment to go on driver that puts us on par with new driver.
Yeah, because what people have spotted in show is that on the underside of the gun is the ID cores for their respective riders. And that underside looks exactly like what it is in this picture, with like a clear plate, and you can see the ID core on the inside of the plate.
Yep. That's exactly.
Which probably what's going to happen, hopefully, is that once more, all of our riders are going to kind of share an upgrade, but Geese is going to get one above everyone else. Like how everybody shared Fever, but then Geese and Tycoon got Command. Here, everyone's going to get this, whatever the equivalent of this Boost Mark II is. But, like, Geese will get, like, Boost Mark III, which we know is in the driver.
I don't know about that as much as this might be something different on its own.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't surprise me if the different boost mark whatevers will be shared upgrade,
Yeah.
and then he'll have his own.
I could see that, because there's talk of, like, Boost Mark III not being quite accessible in driver. It takes a very specific thing, and it's like, well,
I mean, it could just take an attachment to something that we don't have yet.
that seems to be what it is, I feel like, because I believe... Yeah, because Monster, and Fever all tell the driver to shut up with their stuff. Wait, no. Beat doesn't. Fever does. No, not those three. Command tells the driver to shut up. And there are a ton of codes in the driver that tells it to shut up. So it's entirely possible that one of those is just going to let Boost Mark 3 just do its own noises. Which I feel like is going to happen for a lot of the big upgrades of Geats. Is just, yeah, no, the driver's going to be silent.
Wouldn't be the first time we've done that.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, Geats is really good. I still enjoy this show. It doesn't feel like they can fuck up that easily right now.
Well, seeing as how what the big inspiration clearly is, it's gonna be hard for them to veer too far off of the path.
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, anyone that's watched Gaim will see the similarities.
Yeah.
Do I necessarily think that Geats can ever rival Gaim in how good it is? No. I think Gaim is just going to be one of those that no other writer show is going to really nail it as strong the entire way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's definitely going to give it a run for its money.
Oh, and I have to think that it is purposely ironic that for the DGP that's like, talk all about the traitor, meanwhile, the other half of the plot is literally a coup of DGP employees saying, fuck the DGP. It's almost like the real traitor was the people doing the coup. And they're the ones that mattered. Not whatever arbitrary traitor you decided to hand a card to every week.
Yeah, but I mean, they won't do anything. Just all talk.
All talk. They've stolen Vision Driver. We're this close to getting the fucking Goddess of Creation. Except, oops, we had this happen before. We made sure that you had to have 2 drivers to get access, not just one.
So guess what gets stole next?
Yeah. And oops, we also didn't take away her driver, and also she's the big mech one in terms of the lot of us, and she could just nuke a location if she desired, and none of us can stop it. We fucked up, I think. Once more, it feels like the theme is the people in charge of the DGB are a bit too hubris.
Uh-huh.
Which makes me continue to look at Samiri again and again. I'm just like, how long until she just breaks away and is like, fuck this shit, I'm tired?
You know, I thought we would be closer with that. Until this episode.
Yeah, where she's just like, well, we just gotta nuke everything. They found out the big secret. Oh well.
Yeah, the moment she was like, well, I like this world. Too bad it's gone now. It's like, okay, why are you not trying to, I don't know, do anything to stop this?
It feels like she's the only one that's an employee without a driver.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious to me. Because I'm trying to think, like, who on this cast is confirmed to not have a driver right now? Or has not transformed in some capacity?
Her and producer's assistant.
And garden friend.
Oh, I'm full on convinced he has a driver.
Probably. It's those two. Do probably garden friend if until he just slaps on a Desire driver and slams a Yamato buckle on. I honestly kind of expected her to just slam a Vision driver on, because that seems to be you're in charge of the DGP, this is your driver. Because it seems to be the driver is employment based.
Maybe
If you're a
question mark?
Well, it seems like if you're a player, you get the desire driver. If you're management, you get a vision driver. And if you're a sponsor, you get the laser raise riser.
Because, you know, sponsors need to have more power than the players.
Even though they're not supposed to fight.
Yeah.
Maybe the laser raise riser is just how they get access. That's why it's card based.
But then why not just have the cards? Why give them a full-on driver and the potential to transform too? That just feels like the upper management is just like, yeah, we don't care.
Probably. But yeah, laying it out like that, I'm just like, shouldn't Samiri have a vision driver? Which I'm gonna find hilarious because they're still selling the premium Bandai version of that driver, because that's on premium Bandai. They're selling that driver, and like they've said, oh, it can do the glare transformation, it can do the gazer transformation, it can do a glare 2 transformation. And I'm just like, how many more transformations are you gonna slam in this damn thing before like pre-orders close on it? Because I'm waiting for them to throw one more in there. It's like, here's glare 3 or gazer 2 or a fucking, I don't know, some other vision-based name.
Well, you know one they won't use. Won't be able to use Watcher. Mainly because of Marvel.
Yeah.
Even though that would be perfect for Samari's form, but since that's all she's technically supposed to do.
Yeah. And I guess we'll see. Anything else for Geeks for the week?
No.
Alright. Let's talk Armada. So it's 29 through 32. Any thoughts going in?
It's Armada.
It's telling when the first line of notes is, oh my god, this battle is so boring.
You mean the battle that lasted the entire...
Yeah, that one.
That we didn't get a payoff at the end either.
Yeah. But yeah, let's just roll through our formats.
You ever get the feeling that they intentionally are doing this because they don't want to write the end of a battle?
Probably.
Because have you noticed that seems to happen more often than not?
Yeah, it feels like a thing happens and then the Decepticons either fuck off in defeat or the Decepticons fuck off in victory.
Or there's not any victory or defeat and they just eat out of the picture.
Yeah, the Decepticons just fuck off because they're the only ones that presumably can fuck off immediately. Except we've seen that the Autobots can teleport back to their base. Which makes me wonder, how fast can they teleport back to their base? Because I guess it's slower than the Decepticons.
Which feels wrong.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, we have seen the upper echelon of Decepticons. They're not smart enough to come up with better teleportation devices. They're barely smart enough for some of them to know which way is the way to hold a gun.
Yeah. So, shall we hit the episodes then?
Yeah.
Alright, episode 29, Desperate. Tidal Wave continues to shoot at the Autobots. Hooray! No one has taken any damage at all.
That will change
So,
as Prime
back
becomes a human meat shield.
Yeah.
Or robot
Prime goes.
meat, I guess, technically.
Yeah. We go back to Rad. He calms down that one minicon that shot at him because the minicon is scared of them. Because.
Reasons.
Reasons, yeah. Reasons. They don't explain why. He's just scared of them. So while he does that and they bring him back to Red Alert and stuff, the Autobots manage to tip Tidal Wave. Hooray! Except now he does his other function, which is to combine with Megatron and give him a super mode of split Tidal Wave into 3 pieces and jam them on the Megatron. He now has a jetpack and guns.
Congratulations, you now have Mega Wave.
Yep. So now Megatron is more powerful. Oh no. So him and Prime fight in the sky. Prime gets shot at by all the minicons and thrust. He has to have the Sky Boom shield. Back to Rad. He convinces the minicon to go out to the battlefield to help Prime and stuff. Carlos and Red Alert decide to go with him because Red Alert is the only sensible person here, and Carlos is going because he's bored. Yeah. They get there. Megs and Prime clash with the Sword and Shield. It sends out a signal since the one minicon's there. That's part of the Requiem Blaster. The minicon kind of backpacks off the signal to summon his buddies, one from the moon and the other from some crack in the ground. They start to form the Requiem Blaster as Prime gets chopped in half. Thankfully, it's at the half he's combined with Jetfire in, so they're both fine.
Because, oh yeah, they had combined a while back, in case you forgot.
Yep. I also love how Prime refers to himself as just himself and not as them, even though he is wearing Jetfire as a pair of pants.
Yep.
And Jetfire is completely silent until they break this transformation. And then Jetfire's like, oh shit, no! Like, where have you been conscious-wise this entire time?
And
Yeah. So, Prime is falling because Jetfire is busy dealing with other stuff. The Requiem Blaster forms at Prime. Thrust tries to take it. Prime fights him off for it. And then shoots down to save himself. And then everyone fucks off. And now the Autobots have the Requiem Blaster. Hooray! That's the episode. Were you expecting him to actually?
we don't even know the Decepticons retreated, by the way.
Nope.
Prime literally shoots a hole in the ocean. That sank in. And that's literally the end of that.
Yep. Which takes us to episode 30, Runaway. There's no opening narration on the opening this week because reasons. I say it's because the kids are going to do something really stupid this week.
Yeah, I was watching that and I'm like, wait, really? We forgot to record the voiceover for the opening. Let that
record?
Roll.
You mean put in the recording of the voiceover because
now
it's just the one voiceover.
Every so often.
Oh, I haven't noticed.
I think they took like 3 takes.
Okay. All I know is we're on the 4th variation of this opening and it still sucks. So Meg's the Tidal Wave. We're getting a tune-up from the minicons. This is when we check in with the kids. The kids have decided to take the Requiem Blaster minicons and fuck off to a farm because the Autobots don't respect the minicons.
Let that sink in.
Why? How? Is it because you overheard them arguing about using the Requiem Blaster to defeat the Decepticons? If so, I remind you that how many of the minicons have they used in the last like few episodes or so?
I mean 3 because the Sky Boom Shield's the only thing that's getting any screen time.
Right, and that Sky Boom Shield was needed because the Decepticons have the Star Saber. And the Star Saber, in Megatron's hands, he will literally try to dissect them, as he did the last episode. They need the shield because it's the only thing protecting them from the Star Saber.
Not to mention, I love the, you know, you say possibly because they overheard them talking about it.
Right.
Except they were already en route to get on a bus while that conversation was.
Yes.
Meaning this decision came to when the Minicon decided on their own to form said gun for Prime.
Yep.
Did the writers not think of how stupid that sounds?
I don't know.
I mean,
I think a mandate came down that the kids have to do something for an episode. They haven't done anything for several episodes. So this episode happened.
Let them go screw around with the 3 that they have. That don't show up in this episode, might I add.
Yeah, who just formed Perceptor last episode after not forming Perceptor for weeks. Also, no, one of them did show up in vehicle mode with Alexis for like a half second. I know that's no consolation in all of this, but so the kids decide to take the minicons and fuck off because yes, let's take the minicons that form the big giant fuck off cannon out in the middle of nowhere while the Decepticons could probably track us and get a hold of this and we can't stop them. Brilliant decision because no, the Autobots can't force the minicons to battle, even though what minicon have they ever forced to battle at this point at all?
The Autobots can't force the Minicons to battle, but we will expose them to the Decepticons for them to force them to battle.
Right. I say again,
no one here has the brain cell this week.
No.
Writers included.
Like, Sparkplug shows up, and I think that's the first time Sparkplug has showed up in weeks. And all he does is show up to be like, guys, the kids left and they took the Requiem Blaster trio. Also, I don't know which way they went, though.
Also, I just happened to think about something. Perceptor showed up in the last episode, right?
Yes.
I also forgot to mention this. He gets called Leader 1.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Why can we not pay attention to names?
Because that's hard.
But it was 3 combined together. Last time I checked, Leader 1 is literally 1 minicon. Come on.
1 minicon with Megatron, who barely shows up as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the plot of the episode. So they fuck off to this farm, shenanigans happens. Thrust tracks them, goes to the farm, almost murders the kids and takes the Requiem Blaster trio until Prime shows up because all of the Autobots went, oh fuck, the kids have made a terrible decision. We should probably go save them from their terrible decision.
Prime's literally the only one that makes it there in time.
Yeah, because everyone else is stuck in trap because, oh no, being exposed. And I'm like, Blur, you can fucking fly. Just turn the corner, tell your minicon to power link with you, and fucking fly.
We have 2 of them that could have done that.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, we have one that could literally fly, but he's not allowed out of the base.
No, because he took the alt mode of a space shuttle, and that would be conspicuous. And I'm like, fucking fly in the clouds then. Who cares?
Okay. Yeah, that would freak out the humans, right? No worse than the rest of them being driverless vehicles driving on the road.
Yeah, because none of them have a hologram partner like fucking Sideways had with his minicon. Guys, you have to have the hologram of the driver because driverless vehicles don't exist at this time.
Good catch.
If they did, y'all be driving in the fucking walls. So yeah, Prime saves the day, and the Autobots have learned their lessons to not force the minicons to fight for them.
You know, that they already. Hey.
Yeah, this thing that we've already went over like twice, and it's all the kids can do because it's all they're allowed to do in this fucking show now.
I think we've touched this plot point 3 times.
Yeah.
In 30 episodes.
Yeah, and it has sucked every single time.
Which means at this rate we've got 2 more times of it.
Oh god, no.
No, I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So that takes us to episode 31, past part 1, because it's a proper 2-parter.
And we don't get cliffhangered this time.
So we get a flashback to Cybertron as Hotshot is unable to save his friend Wheeljack from dying in a burning inferno on Cybertron. Okay, sure. We cut back to the present, and Sideswipe, a new Autobot, has showed up. I need to describe this scene, because you know how we were talking about the Autobots not wanting to be conspicuous in the last episode? So Sideswipe drives up to the middle of nowhere, facing where the Autobot base is, which is the mountain where I believe a research facility with a people in it is.
Yep.
He transforms, salutes, and starts talking to the Autobots that I assume he knows are watching him on a camera somewhere. And it's like, Private Sideswipe reporting for duty, blah, 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 blah. And all of the Autobots are like, Did anyone get told we were getting this guy? I'm not sure we can invite him into the base. Guys, you have a giant robot talking to thin air outside the base where people are. And you don't want to be conspicuous. Pull the dumbass in the damn base and have a conversation with him, or tell him to fuck off. But we find out apparently Blur saved this kid, because he got stuck in some rope from a parachute, I think, on Cybertron. And so he owes Blur his life. So he talked his way into getting transferred here, which, why does Prime not know that this kid's getting transferred to his unit?
I mean, he never did say one way or the other. So for all we know, he knew.
I guess. But Blur wants nothing to do with this kid because Blur doesn't give a shit. So now Sideswipe becomes Hotshot's problem because
Prime said so.
Yeah. He drew the short straw, therefore you're stuck with the rookie trying to teach him. And you know, he's actually apparently a cocky little shit, which makes him oh so endearing and makes me not want him to die in the next episode at all.
And you know, kind of puts you in the mindset of how Hotshot probably was in his earlier days.
Yeah.
Just saying. Hence probably why Prime said he's your problem.
Yeah. Too bad it is not his episode to learn a lesson, because unfortunately it is Hotshot's two-parter. Because as they're out training and stuff, Wheeljack shows up because he's joined the Decepticons because Megatron saved him from the fire and was like, want to join our team? And Wheeljack's like, alright, cool. And Wheeljack's out for revenge. So he runs the two of them eventually off the road. Sideswipe goes off a cliff and then gets injured. Wheeljack and Hotshot transform. They have a quick conversation for a bit. Hotshot doesn't want to fight Wheeljack, and Wheeljack's like, alright, that's cool. Bang! Just straight up shoots him in the chest. It just leaves him to die. Like, damn. I was expecting Wheeljack to be like, no, you're gonna meet me here. We're gonna finish this. No, Wheeljack's like, nah, fuck this. If you don't want to fight, fine. Bang. Then die. Unfortunately, this doesn't kill Hotshot. So that takes us to episode 32, where we find out Hotshot's recovering, and the same with Sideswipe, and we get the rest of the story with Hotshot of he was ready to get court-martialed to try to save Wheeljack, and almost died in the Inferno to try to save him, but couldn't find him, and Wheeljack was presumed dead because, well, if Hotshot was almost dead and he went back in, I guess Wheeljack's dead. Which, fair assessment?
Yeah. Yeah.
But eventually Hotshot leaves. He goes to, I guess, where he thinks Wheeljack will be, which is this oil refinery. So that's the only reason I think it explodes and catches fire like it does. It's some old refinery place, because they don't specify where the fuck they went to. And also, Hotshot tells Sideswipe to don't shoot later in the episode, and he does, and Hotshot's like, you fucking idiot. But yeah. Hotshot and Wheeljack meet. They start just kicking the shit out of each other until Sideswipe shows up and is like, I'm here to help! And shoots at Wheeljack, misses, hits the refinery. It starts exploding and goes on fire. And it kind of knocks Hotshot away. And Wheeljack's like, what am I going to do? Sideswipe, I'm going to kidnap you, tie you up in this oil refinery that's burning, and I'm going to let Hotshot either save you or die in the fire. Bye! Also, Thrust shows up at one point to try to help, and Wheeljack's like, fuck you, and shoots Thrust. And nearly kills him. Why is Wheeljack like the most competent Decepticon we've seen so far?
Because he's an Autobot.
Accurate. He has come closer to killing like 2 Autobots and a Decepticon in 2 episodes than the entire Decepticons have this entire show. The man has made waves, and I appreciate this. But yeah, Hotshot manages to save Sideswipe. They escape. Megs welcomes Wheeljack to the team, even though Thrust is nearly dead because of Wheeljack. He's like, that's fine. He seems to know what he's doing. Welcome to the team. And this is where I assume Wheeljack loses the 1 brain cell he has.
More than likely.
Yeah. And that's the end of the 4 episodes, folks. How'd you feel about this week's Armada?
I mean, it was 3 episodes. That's for sure.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because, damn, it just 29 just sucked. And this 2-parter, like, it's at least trying something. It's trying to give a Hotshot character, which is more than it's done for everybody else on this cast.
Yeah, I was gonna say literally everyone else.
Like, holy shit.
I feel like the show is just hot shot kind of deal, because he's the only one that's getting any kind of real progression.
I mean, he is supposed to be the character, like the kid association character, like Bumblebee, because we can't do Bumblebee because we don't feel like it. Therefore, here's Hotshot, who's also a small yellow car. I'm pretty sure that's how it actually happened.
Probably. Unless that was actually supposed to be Bumblebee, and then they kind of was like, wait, no, we shouldn't do that.
He's not a Volkswagen Bug. People will be mad at us. It can't be him. Be somebody else then. So yeah. I want to quit this show, but I'm also like, we are fairly deep into this show now. Because we're past the halfway point. I want to at least get to, like, the part of the show that's supposed to be good. And it's, like, 2 more weeks to that. So, we'll see then. And I think by then it's just, like, 3 more weeks and then we're done.
So we're
As much
probably
as this-
finished.
Yeah, as much as the show sucks, I'm just like, fuck it, we'll see the end of the show at this point. It's not like the show can get any worse.
Yeah.
Look,
That's a matter of opinion, I feel like.
I don't hate the show like some shows we've watched.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just saying, it can get worse. Don't tempt fate.
I know, but that is the bar. And I'm like, this show has to self-destruct so hard at this point to make me hate it. Because right now, I'm ambivalent to this show. Anyway. Anything else?
No.
Alright then, this week, Messenger is Thursday, Splatoon 1 race on Friday, TGS on Saturday, as we'll talk about whatever from the last couple weeks. And then next week is more Armada. So if you like what you're seeing, drop and follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that feeling goal. At TGS on Twitter, get your face of life. Expedition with Discord chat. He's listening. Drop by, say hi. See you.